So we're
familiar enough with it.
But hold on just a second. Hold on. Before you start doing this, like, I don't want you to bring the Federal Reserve into it, because we're talking about, if we just keep using Jeff Bezos, we're talking about an individual who innovates into a market, which was, Roger's right, it was book selling, and I remember being so excited because I was able to spend much less on books in college at the time. Anyway, we're talking about someone who is actually providing a good or service that people need, and that's what creates the income that can eventually go around as it is today. We're not talking about printing money.
Well, what I'm saying is, when the pie expands, because you're talking about like production, but yeah, when the pie expands, both in terms of printing money and in terms of production, it still doesn't increase for the workers proportionately. Like, that's why things are less affordable now. From the room. Like, even when you account for inflation, things are less affordable now. I can't get in there. I'm blocked. For the typical person than, say X number of years ago. So this isn't true. I mean, businesses as opposed to having one business does not make it does not explain.
They took tanks in about few months after the October 7th, a few months afterwards, and they used fighter jets to go.
The typical person's like the median income today.
I'm saying, I guess,
versus the median cost.
I understand, but you're discussing something different, which is not what okay. So if you don't think that there is just one big pie out there, and that if Jeff Bezos takes $4 billion and he should have only taken one, that $3 billion have been taken out of the pockets of everybody else, and you think that pie isn't fixed, it can grow, it can shrink, etc. You don't need to go into inflation. You don't need to go into economic dynamics to.
Well, I get what you're saying. Oh, did he cut out? I can't. I don't know if y'all can hear. I can't hear.
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if Kelly was done because it sounded like I didn't.
The conversation does not need to change. We don't need to start talking about the Fed. We don't need to start talking about inflation. We could, but I wasn't trying to bring in more topics. I was just suggesting that people who appreciate that there is a fixed pie look at this differently than people who appreciate that can either grow or it can shrink.
Right. No, I agree on that. I wasn't trying to necessarily go off on a tangent. I was just saying I agree with you on that point. I'm just saying, when the pie grows, even in the way that you're discussing, it still is the same thing. It still is basically just disproportionately benefiting the few as opposed to the many. Because that's the thing. One of the arguments, because that would be my assumption about the point of making that argument. It's they provide all this value to society because they're actually increasing the size of the pie. And it's okay, yeah, that's cool and all, but if the increase in the pie is just disproportionately benefiting the few, then I don't see how that's
let me explain it a different way, okay? So when you say that you want to change the way that these ratios are allocated, if you were to do that, because you have to think about, there's top line revenue, there's bottom line revenue, right? And if you were to take, and let's say we did what you recommended, which is the ratio can only be 9-1. You have to look at, and this is why employees should never make these calls and government should absolutely not make these calls, is that you don't have the visibility into where that money would have been allocated otherwise. Under the current system, they allocate money towards research and development of new products, to optimize and reduce the expense for the current products that they sell, to make the company even more profitable, and to be able to expand the business, which creates more jobs, which actually benefits the economy. By creating jobs, they're doing their part.